Hey folks, Lee Stallman here with Beck's Hybrids here in Fort Recovery, Ohio. It is Tuesday, April 27th. It is about 5 o'clock right now. Getting a lot of calls about whether guys should keep planning ahead of a suspected rain event in the forecast this Wednesday evening going into Thursday, calling for 1 inch of rain or more, possibly a heavy rain event. So something to think about is that going to be a problem? Is it not going to be a problem? Should I keep planting? Should I stop planting? Before you answer that question, first you got to know, well, it just depends. It depends on the weather that follows the planting. If we get a 1/4 inch of rain and everything's going to be fine, everything's going to germinate and emerge just fine. If we happen to get a heavy rain event, inch or more rain gets slammed in right after planting, it'd probably be best if you didn't put it in the ground at least 24 hours ahead of the rain event. And to better understand why, it's all about the germination of the seed and the process of the germination and the time it takes to germinate a seed healthy and successfully. So to understand that better, I drew a little picture on the dry erase board here. We got our seed in the center here. I know it's not a real great drawing, but just work with me here. We got our seed in the center here. First thing we're going to need to germinate the seed healthy is temperature. We need to have our soil temperatures 50 degrees or higher. If it's below 50 degrees, we can start to injure the seed with imbibing that cool, cold moisture. Not going to be life-threatening to the plant. It's not going to be the end of the world, but it can be damaging. So we like that to be 50 degrees or higher. The next process of the germination is going to be the H2O. It's going to be the water. So once our temperature is 50 degrees or higher, we start to imbibe that water. Once the seed is fully hydrated, the next thing we need is oxygen. And this is the big one right here. This is the key to healthy germination. Oxygen in the soil. So this is the risk of planting right ahead of the rain event. If we happen to get slammed in with 1 inch of rain or more right after we plant, if maybe that last round we got the windshield wipers on high, we might be at risk of losing all the oxygen in the soil. That water comes down heavy and the rain comes down heavy and it replaces all the oxygen that's in the soil and saturates the soil, so there's no oxygen available for the seed to breathe. Once that seed is fully hydrated, the next thing it's going to do is take its first breath, and it's going to go from a dormant seed to a live, living, breathing plant, and we need to have oxygen there to support it. Once we get through that process and we get that seed breathing and living, then we can tolerate a lot of imperfections in the weather. Hot, cold, wet, dry, we can tolerate a lot of imperfections. But we want this process to go as smoothly as possible and healthy as possible. If we plant right ahead of the rain and get slammed in, it's not that we're not going to get a stand. It will germinate. We will get some sort of a stand, but it's going to be a weaker, unhealthy stand. And it's a lot of times those types of fields and those types of situations, the hybrid that you planted a lot of times won't even look like what it actually represents in another field planted at a different planting date at maybe a healthier germination time and a healthier planting window. So I thought I'd just share this with you. Like I said, it's just my advice, this is my recommendations. If we're going to get this rain event, this is what I would do. There's a pretty high confidence level in 1 inch of rain or more. So we stopped planting here about 3-4 o'clock, and we're just going to wait it out and see what happens. If we only get a 1/4 inch of rain, we'll be back in there planting by this end of this weekend anyway. If we get 1 inch of rain or 1.5 inches of rain, we'll be glad we stopped. So it's still pretty early, and we can get across a lot of acres pretty quick, so it's not the end of the world if we don't get it done tonight. Like I said, it's just my recommendations. If the forecast is wrong and we're only going to get a 1/4 inch of rain, then I'm wrong, and then you should have kept planting. So, but I'd like to share this advice with you, and maybe I can help prevent a replant situation. So thanks for watching, and happy planting.